Welcome to this week's workshop on calculated metrics in Google Analytics 4. So just a few minutes about me. I'm an instructor at measurementmarketing.io. What does that mean? It means that I work with our measurement marketing clients to harness the power of marketing data and make data-driven decisions. I am passionate about sharing my knowledge and my skills in measurement marketing, and I love talking about Looker Studio, BigQuery, and Analytics Canvas. Now, as an instructor at measurementmarketing.io, I am back there in the Measurement Marketing Academy, Ask Instructor, where you can share videos with us and we can share videos back. So along with Julian Mercer, I am one of the instructors back there. You can send me videos about BigQuery, about Analytics Canvas, about Looker Studio, about GA4, and we're back there. The Academy is our flagship product. In there we have win courses, on-demand workshops, get it done guides, anything and everything tied to measurement strategy. Okay, now, one thing. When you are watching this training, definitely try to grab one thing. Grab one thing, master it, and before you know it, you have tons of one things you are mastering. So highly recommend when you're watching this, pick one thing and go and master that. Now, let's dive into calculated metrics in Google Analytics 4. Let's start. Before we get started, let's go over our foundation. Our foundation is our measurement marketing framework, where you go from marketing in the blind to marketing where you can reliably grow revenue and profit. So there are 3 key steps: plan, build, and launch. Now, in plan, it's all about knowing what questions you're going to ask, what questions you want answered, right? Information, knowing the information you need to answer those questions. And this is critical when it comes to calculated metrics because you might need a calculated metric as the information to answer a question. And finally, actions, knowing what actions you're going to take when you have that information. Build is all about results, traffic, and story. So understanding your results and traffic and having it tell you a story. Launch is listening to that story. What is that story telling you? Forecasting how that story is going to perform, and then optimizing based on how your story performed against your forecast. You can learn more about this at measurementmarketing.io. Now, before we dive into what is a calculated metric, let's talk about what is a metric. So a metric, they are quantitative values of a dimension in a table. Think how much. Here is a super simple table: date and session. What is our metric in this table? Our metric in this table is sessions because it is the quantitative value of the dimension date. It is saying on a particular date, here's how many sessions you had. Now, what is a calculated metric? So first, let's go through Google's definition of what a calculated metric. So they say a calculated metric is a metric that combines one or more existing custom metrics within a mathematical formula to produce a new and potentially more valuable metric. That's a lot of words, Google. Okay. Let's talk about the layman's or the real word definition, or just a definition without that many words, right? So first one, calculated metrics are business defined metrics. That's basically what they are. And they're created using a formula. And you create them using a formula based on standard or custom metrics. Really simple. They're usually more actionable because you create them tailored for your business. That's why they're more actionable, because you are sitting there, I want an answer to this question, so I'm going to go create that actionable metric. Now, couple requirements. Requirement. You must be an administrator or editor to create a calculator metric. If you are not, then you won't have access. Limitation. As a Google Analytics 4 standard, if you're using the free property, you get 5 calculator metrics. If you are 360, you guys are the lucky ones. You get 50. Okay. Now let's dive in and let's create a calculated metric together. Okay, so I have GA4 all ready to go right here. What I just wanted to show is the Google support page on calculated metrics, so it's right here. We will link this below. You can definitely come here and give this a read. It talks about all the different fields you have to fill out and all that kind of fun stuff, okay? So something you read, and also gives you a couple of examples. Okay, so coming into here, so here we are. We're in our GA4. You're going to come down the side. You're going to go to admin. And once that's loaded, you're going to come down here and you're going to look for, under data display, you're going to come look for custom definition. Okay, so now in here you see custom dimensions, custom metrics, and calculated metrics. You're going to click on calculated metrics. So right now we have none created. Now if you click on quota information, you will see that we are on the free account, so you get 5. If you are on a 360 account, as I mentioned, you get 50. Okay, so let's create our first calculated metric. You're going to click on the blue button here, and you're going to give your calculated metric a name, and then you give it an API name. Do note, when you give it a name, like I'm calling this returning users, we're going to create it one, but it will automatically populate the API name, but you are welcome to change it. This name is a name that will show up in Looker Studio or in any other tools you're using that use the GA4 API. Okay, you can give it a description, then you give it a formula, and then you give it a unit of measurement, like if it's money, you're going to want currency, if it's distance, time, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep this as standard. Okay, So the calculate metric we're going to create is returning users. It was a metric in UA, but not a metric in GA4. So why not get it created? Okay, we'll call it returning users. We're going to leave the API name as returning underscore users. In the description, it's going to be number of returning users, which is total users minus new users. Okay, so when it comes to the formula, the way it works is when you enter, let's say I enter total users, right? So the minute I pick the first metric, it limits, and I say, minus, and I, go to pick. As you can see, this list is much shorter because it is basically limited by scope now. So I can't do like total users by total, by revenue or something like that. It's saying, well, here's the metrics you can do with total users. So for returning users, I'm doing total users minus new users. So that would give me the number of users who are returning. So the minute we save this, here we go. We now have our metric. Now, do note that you can come in here and you can edit most parts about this except for the API name. So if I was to change this name to like V2 or, ABC, like any of that will not show. The API name will always stay the same, okay? So this is our calculated metric created, returning users, and our formula is right there. And you can do different formulas here. So you can do a formula where you minus 2 metrics, but you can also do formulas, and just going to show you a quick example here. But let's say if we wanted to do, say, total revenue, and let's say we wanted to convert this to maybe Canadian, maybe it's US, we're calculating US, but you can do something like that, right? Where you can do an actual number here instead. Okay, so just a couple different things. Okay, so now we have a calculated metric. Now here's the neat thing with calculated metrics. They are retroactive. So let's go into one of our reports. Hold on, reports. Okay, so we're going to go to acquisition, and we're going to traffic acquisition. Now, as always, if you want to add a metric here, you're going to have to click on this customized report, and then you're going to have to go to metrics, and then you can go down here, and what you can do is see custom returning users. So now I've added it, and I can hit apply, and give this a second. So now I have this. And do note the great thing is you can actually go back in time. So I have to save this report as a different report. Say I'm going to save as a new report. So you'd have to save this, and you can add something like returning users included, save. So there we go, it's saved. So, and this can go back in time. So this is going to be active for now, but it's also going to be there for any prior dates I look for. Now, let's actually check an exploration out. So we're going to hop over into an exploration quickly. Explorations. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come in here, and let's say we pick session. We're going to pick session source median. Actually, you know what? We're actually going to change that. We're going to do first user. We're going to do first user source median. So what is the user's first source median? Okay, and then we're going to do total users. We're going to do new users. And we're going to look for our returning users. So right there. Oh, they actually have returning users there too. Okay, so what we can do here is you add your rows, and then you can add your columns. So you can do total users, new users. So there's your total number of users. Here's your new users, and this minus this is your returning user. So you get that metric there, and like we mentioned, you can actually go back in time. So we can go back to let's go back to maybe the first week of October only. And you get the metrics there. So there you go. That's how you create calculated metrics in GA4. Remember, you can create any type of metric you want after this. You could even convert your revenue to your currency if you want. So I'm actually going to hop back in here and kind of show you a couple different examples. So you could do one where Canadian revenue. And so this is revenue converted to Canadian. And your formula there would be total, purchase revenue. And you can say multiply by, the exchange rate's kind of high right now, but you can say that. And then that would give you the revenue in Canadian, and you can add that to any of your reports. So those are different types of calculations you can do. Alrighty, so what was your one thing? Was your one thing that you can set up calculated metrics in GA4? If it was that, I highly recommend it. Go back to your Kia, look at your Kia, and see how you can maybe change your questions or add new questions, because now you have the power of calculated metrics. Now, highly recommend you hit subscribe. We have lots of good workshops coming your way, so hit subscribe. Stay tuned for lots of good workshops and the good stuff we're going to be sharing over the coming weeks. Now, if you want to learn more about the measurement marketing framework, definitely recommend it. Huge hit. So I recommend you learn more about measurement. If you're looking to learn more about that and you want to get access to some of our free resources like our Workshop Wednesdays, our Traffic Toolkit, our Marketing Behavior Toolkit, and the GTM Cookbook, all that fun stuff. So you joined the Measurement Marketing Framework. So we have two levels. You can join the toolbox for free, and that's where you get the free resources, or you can hop onto the flagship product. To learn more about it, you go to measure.tips/getacademy, and that will get you access to the academy and get you also access to Ask Instructor, where you can ask myself and many of our instructors questions live. So there you have it, calculated metrics in Google Analytics 4.